You've checked most of your boxes, right? I mean, chemistry, check. Spiritual compatibility, check. Financial security, double check. Health. Now, before you get married, you need to do this. In this video, I'll briefly talk about premarital health screening. Now, this is a series of health tests that a couple who's planning to get married should do months before they actually tie the knot. This checkup will assess both you and your partner's health status while screening for infectious diseases and genetic blood disorders. So basically, it helps prevent any health issues that could be passed on to your future kids, at the same time giving an understanding of where the both of you are health-wise. Quick question, what's your blood group? Why does this matter in marriage? You see that positive or negative part you have in your blood group? It's called rhesus factor, and it's a protein that either exists or does not exist on your red blood cells. Now, in marriage, if a man who's rhesus positive marries a woman who's rhesus negative, there's a probability that they'll get a child who's rhesus positive. So here we have a rhesus negative mother who is carrying a rhesus positive baby. What will happen is that the mother's and baby's blood will mix. The mother's blood will then see it as foreign and fight against it. This can lead to a complication called hemolytic disease of the newborn that will affect the subsequent pregnancies. It will cause things like anemia, jaundice, severe organ failure, or even death in worst case scenario. The cool thing here is that if you know your blood type early enough and you find out that you and your spouse have rhesus factor incompatibility, you can plan and take steps to protect your future kids. I understand there's some stigma around this topic, but trust me, this isn't the place to throw in that quote of what you don't know won't hurt you, because it might. It might hurt you, your beloved, or your future kids. So here you'll be tested for common sexually transmitted infections like gonorrhea, chlamydia, syphilis, including HIV, AIDS, and hepatitis B. It's really important to get this test done even if you seem or feel healthy, because some of these STIs can be silent, meaning you may not have the symptoms, but you do have the infection, so you can pass it on to your future spouse. Plus, some of them can affect your fertility or even cause complications during pregnancy. It's important to keep in mind that a positive result in any of these tests isn't the end of the world for either of you. With the right medical, emotional, and spiritual support, you both can still build a healthy family together. Now, let's talk about your genes. Not those genes, those genes. Here you'll be screened for common genetic blood disorders like sickle cell, which can be passed on to your future kids. So for a disorder like sickle cell, you either have the disease or are a carrier of the disease. When one has sickle cell, their symptoms are obvious. But when one is a carrier, that's not the case. So you might never really know someone has sickle cell until you do this kind of testing. In a scenario where two carriers of the same disease get married and they get kids, the kids have a chance of developing that disease. As much as it's an option, two partners who find out they are carriers of the same disease don't necessarily have to walk away from each other. Through genetic counseling, they can be guided on how to move forward with building a healthy family, with options like adoption or special surrogacy, among many others. Finally, let's talk about testing for chronic conditions like asthma, hypertension, diabetes, among many others. These tests will help you know if you or your partner have these health issues or are at a risk of developing them. There are many other tests that I won't necessarily go into much detail about in this video. They are mostly centered around reproductive health, like fertility assessment tests, cancer screening tests, etc. These tests will depend on the resources available at your disposal and the hospital of your choice. I get that premarital health screening isn't something that's much prioritized by a significant number of couples, but that needs to change. So, before you say yes to the dress or tax, say yes to these tests. Visit your local clinic or hospital and ask for a premarital health screening. Now, they may either offer it as a package, like I've seen in some hospitals, or you might have to do individual tests. Whatever the case, get screened, get informed. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a like, share it with your partner or a friend who you know is about to get married, and subscribe to my channel. Until next time, peace.